Okay, so this guy says, hell no, Chicanos, Pochos, y'all ain't Mexicans. Take a look at your birth certificate. It doesn't say Estados Unidos Mexicanos. Y'all are tripping, trying to bite pinches mutts. Damn, now that's another fucked up one. First of all, why are you saying that I think I'm Mexican, bro? Why are people thinking that? I'm from New Mexico. It's a fucking state in the United States of America. It's in between Arizona and Texas. You can't miss it. It's a big ass square on the state. There's 4 corners that attach, 4 states. Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. I'm gonna have to show you guys a map to show you, because I've been getting that a lot. I've been talking about New Mexico history. I speak about New Mexico. It's Sia Strong. That's all I talk about is New Mexico. Not Mexico. It's not the same fucking thing. So none of us are claiming to be Mexican. We're New Mexican. What the fuck are you talking about? But I've been getting that a lot. I was locked up at a treatment center in Salt Lake City, Utah when I was 16, 17. And they used to, when I would tell them I was from New Mexico, they used to think I was from Mexico. They say I have an accent. They thought I was Mexican. Well, I'm Hispanic, bro. And anyway, just saying. I'll show you guys a map so you can see where exactly New Mexico is for the ones that don't know what a map of America looks like, I guess. Okay, so check this one out. You deny being Mexican and claim your Spanish roots. If you are of Mexican descent, you're Mexican by ethnicity and you're Mexican by nationality. Oh my God. Mexican specifies your Hispanic roots. You can't claim one and deny the other. First of all, this says if you are of Mexican descent, you're Mexican by ethnicity and you're Mexican by nationality. Bro, Mexican isn't an ethnicity. Mexican is a nationality. Hispanic is an ethnicity. And second of all, New Mexican by nationality? Serio? New Mexican isn't a nationality. New Mexico is a state in the United States of America. So if I claim a nationality, my nationality is American because I'm from the United States. Now ethnicity, my ethnicity is Hispanic. If you don't know what ethnicity is the way that you are raised, the culture you are raised in, the traditions, and I was raised Hispanic. So let me read this comment and break it down again. So this guy says, you deny being Mexican and claim your Spanish roots? First of all, I never denied being Mexican. Though I am not Mexican, I'm from New Mexico, from the United States of America, and I'm of Hispanic ethnicity. I'm a coyote with mixed blood. And yes, I do claim my Spanish roots. Just like I claim the German roots, the native roots, and whatever other roots. Well, I can't claim roots I don't know, but I do claim the roots that I do know that I have. Not just the Spanish, but that's my ethnicity because that's how I was raised. Now, it goes on to say, if you are Mexican descent, you're Mexican by ethnicity. Like I explained, Mexican isn't an ethnicity, bro. Hispanic is an ethnicity, and that's my ethnicity. Okay. It says you're New Mexican by nationality. Bro, New Mexico is a state in the United States of America, so I'm American by nationality. I'm from the state of New Mexico, though. And then he goes on to say, Mexican specifies your Hispanic roots. You can't claim one and deny the other. Anyway, I just seen this comment. I had to respond real quick. This is Tragedy. Hope you learned something new. Okay, this guy again. So this one says, your facts are whack. You Hispanic have no place here. We paved the way for you. You guys don't even want to be in your own land. Hashtag border jumping people. Damn. First of all, you must not know what Hispanic means. We don't belong here. You paved the way for us. We're border crossing people. Listen, Hispanic doesn't mean Mexican. That's not what it means. Hispanic, as I've explained 1,000 fucking times, literally comes from the word Hispania, which was the country Spain, the Iberian Peninsula. Now, most Mexicans are Hispanic, meaning that we do have blood from Spain, but most of them have blood that are indigenous to Mexico. So most people in the... So the way that I could explain this the best, I've been doing surnames. I've been doing everybody's surnames, where they originated, where they came from. And if you notice, a lot of these surnames came from Spain, Portugal, Germany. They have Visigothic. It's just a mixture. A lot of them even came from Rome. But a disclaimer that I wanted to give is that just because you have the last name, like me, Martinez, Lopez, Beltran, Arellano, you know, just because you have this last name doesn't mean that you could trace your blood back to Spain. Now, some people can trace their blood all the way to the Spanish colonization of Oñate, but some people seem to can't find it. And let me tell you one reason why. Because the Spaniards were colonizers. They came to this side of the world, they were building colonies. And what they would do is they would give a lot of the indigenous people of their land these last names. So that way they could colonize them and they could make them Spaniards in their eyes. They're Hispanicizing them, Europeanizing them, however you want to put it. Anyway, so this guy says that us Hispanic people have no place here. I'm gonna speak for myself on this one. I'm from New Mexico, northern New Mexico, Santa Fe, New Mexico. What do you mean we have no place here? This is our fucking home. And then he put hashtag border jumping people. Bro, I'm not an immigrant from Mexico, dog. I have homies that are, I know people who are. So I'm not saying nothing against immigrants, nothing like that. But I'm speaking for myself, as I said. I'm not border jumping. I'm not no fucking... I'm an American citizen, fool. I'm from New Mexico. New Mexico is a part of the United States. You know, if you guys look on a fucking map, we're right in between Arizona and Texas. Some people think New Mexico is part of Mexico. No, bro. We're an American state. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying or what this fucking comment thing was about. But anyway, hope you learned something new. Tragedy. Okay, so this one says, let's get it right. They were not Americans, it was European Americans. We are the real Americans, the natives, and we are here to take it back. Just look around. One, yes, Native Americans were the first Americans in the Americas. That's fucking common sense, no shit. But second, we're Americans too, dog. The ones that came from Spain, England, Germany, it don't fucking matter. They came 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 400 years ago. It doesn't matter, bro. As time progresses, people evolve. We mix together. Look at me. I have German blood, Spanish blood, native blood. I don't even know what fucking kind of blood because I don't know my dad. Those are just what I know. I'm a coyote. Most people are like that these days. And the reason I teach Hispanic is because my last name's Martinez. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico. My family's Hispanic. My ethnicity is Hispanic. It's my culture. I grew up in that tradition, that whole Catholic, you know, the saints, the rosaries. Why do you think I'm wearing this rosary? You think I'm religious? No, bro. My whole point is that we're all Americans. Yes, the Native Americans were the first Americans. The Spanish came next. English, French, German, Irish. Now there's all kinds of people that call themselves Americans but have blood that came from Europe. It doesn't make us not American. Like I've explained before, I'm a coyote. I have Crane in my blood, that came from Germany. I have Arellano in my blood, which came from Spain. I have Segesser Pueblo in my blood, which comes from northern New Mexico. And that's just from my mom's side. I don't know who my dad is, so I can't tell you from that side. But that's most Americans these days. We're not living in the 1600s, bro. It's the 2000s. There's so many people that have come to America and made this home. And I'm talking about from the 1900s. I'm not talking about people who've been crossing the border these last 5-10 years. And another disclaimer, I'm talking about the USA. So how are you taking it back? You put the Mexican flag, okay? Most Mexicans crossing the border do have Hispanic blood. I could see if it was a big indigenous movement. Everybody from all the indigenous tribes were coming together to try and take their land back. That would mean something more. But you don't even know that most of you guys have Spanish in your blood. I can't speak for you, because I don't know you personally, whoever this comment is to. But check your ancestry. Anyway, this is Tragedy. Okay, so this one says, did your racist teacher teach you that, or your parents? Now this comment was just to one of my videos where I'm talking about New Mexico history and the things I talk about. Now let me tell you a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me. Now I didn't grow up with no parents, bro. I was born in 1988. My mom was Priscilla Martinez. She gave birth to me while she was on drugs. They had to kick me at the hospital. I was born, they say, addicted to drugs. Anyway, I had a 1-year-old brother at the time, John Paul. He was my closest. Me and him were together ever since I was born. We were in foster care together. We lived with my grandma and my grandpa a little bit. We lived with my cousins Gail and Jerry. We were just all over the place in our childhood. We didn't have a mom and a dad. We didn't have parents. My mom, rest in peace to her soul, was on the streets and in prison my whole life. My dad, I don't even know who the fuck he is. So no, my parents didn't teach me this. And as for, did my teachers teach me this? No. In 7th grade here in New Mexico, 7th grade they teach you New Mexico history. but they just teach you the basics. Now listen, I came from a family of people who were addicted to drugs, who lived a life of crime, who were in and out of prison, in the streets, and now most of them are dead. My uncle just overdosed recently. My mom overdosed way back in 2002. And so where do you think I ended up? I ended up on the streets. I ended up on drugs. I ended up in prison, out of prison, back to prison, back out of prison. I went to prison 4 times. And I didn't learn my knowledge from a teacher. I learned my knowledge from studying, from reading books, from learning about everything, from my history, also growing up in Santa Fe. So I learned my history, I learned my culture, I know my traditions, and putting them all together and giving you guys my knowledge and common sense, that's where I learned it from. I learned it from reading books. Books are important. And nowadays, it's not even as hard as having to go to a library, rent a book, do research, take notes. Now you could do it all with the power of the internet. Anyway, this is Tragedy. So today I want to come on and tell you guys about the Segesser Hyde Paintings. Now there's 2 of these paintings, which are both part of one big painting. It's kind of like a tapestry which tells a battle that happened in our history. Now these could be found in the History Museum in Santa Fe and the City Museum in Albuquerque. But I'm going to show them here. And while they show, I'm going to explain what they mean and what they portray. So in New Mexico, in the 1700s, at this time, the Pueblo and the Spanish people had to unite a lot to fight against Comanche raids. Now, I've talked about this before, and I've got a lot of people telling me, oh, the Pueblo and Hispanic never united. Yes, they did. They had to unite to defend themselves against Comanche raids. And on the story I'm going to tell you today, they also had to unite to fight against the French. So there was a man named Pedro de Villasur, and he went on an expedition that's now known as the Villasur Expedition in 1720. Now this expedition was meant... Okay, let me rewind a little bit. So, New Mexico at the time was the northern province of New Spain, the Kingdom of New Mexico. It was like a buffer zone between the undisputed lands and Mexico, where all the Spaniards had their cities like Zacatecas and Sonora, Mexico City. And then you had Santa Fe way up here and Taos and these other little settlements. And what they were is like a buffer zone. They would protect the Kingdom of New Spain from the invaders of the Comanches, the Kiowa, the Apaches, the Navajos, anybody else. Also, the English had their colonies on the East Coast. The French had their colonies where Louisiana now is. And, so they were starting to get close to the border. They got reports that there was a French army camped near the Mississippi River, which was close to the border of New Spain. So this was in the year 1720. Pedro de Villasur, him, 45 veteran Spanish soldiers, 60 Pueblo allies, some Apache scouts, and a priest all set out to go meet these people, confront them. So they went out to go confront the French, and near present-day Schuler, I'll put the spelling here, I don't know what this town is, Schuler, Nebraska, is where the battle takes place. So this is where they encountered a large number of Pawnee and Otto Indians, Native Americans. Those were the French allies. So you had the French and the Pawnee against the Spanish and the Pueblo. Well, once they seen the French and their allies, they knew that they were where they were supposed to be, so they set camp. They camped out for the night. The next day, they were attacked, and this battle took place, the battle that's depicted on the tapestry here. It's called the Segesser Hyde Paintings. It was painted on buffalo hide. A few years after this battle took place, it was sent to Europe, and in 1988, New Mexico got it back. So this was a loss for the Spanish. They lost 31 Spanish soldiers. They lost 11 Pueblo allied soldiers. They lost the priest that went with them. And Pedro de Villasur himself got killed. They say that he's the one laying down on the tapestry, dead. And the remaining battered army returned to Santa Fe, September 6, 1720, defeated. So that's the story of the Villasur expedition. That's the story that the Segesser Hyde paintings represent. And I like it because it reminds me of the medieval history, the way they drew their battles on the big tapestries and hung them on their walls, and you can still see some of them today. Well, this is what they did too. But in their way, they used buffalo hide. And whatever pigments they used, and it's kind of faded, but if you look close, you could tell it's a battle scene. There's people running and hiding in the bushes in the river, and it represents something that happened in real history. And when you see it in a cartoonish drawing form like this, it's hard to picture it. But if you picture it in your mind as real people, real battles, you'll see. But this is another example that the Spanish and the Native American Pueblo people had to unite. We used to have to unite a lot in history, Hispanic and natives. And now, us people in New Mexico are Hispanic and native in our blood. We have a mixture. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that again. I just wanted to come back and tell a little history story. I've been gone for a while. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new. This is Tragedy. I'm out.